That was the Forrest Griffin thing where he stood in front of him and did it. And stepping backwards, he boom caught him with the right hook, dog. He caught him with the right hook.
That's a bad man right there.
Anderson Silva, to me, greatest of all time. One of my favorite fighters to ever watch.
Yeah, man.
So UFC has been in the news recently. Obviously, they sold themselves, last year for $4 billion.
Yeah.
But UFC inked a new deal with ESPN. Did you hear about this?
I
did
not.
So the UFC, and this was, I think, about 2-3 weeks ago, actually. I meant to cover it on last week's episode. UFC inked a deal. Their Fox deal is up. UFC inked a deal with ESPN, and ESPN is going to start airing various UFC shows. I think they kind of preliminary announced some stuff. Some stuff will be on ESPN. Some stuff will be on pay-per-view and things like that. So Fox as a company, let's go back, a month or two back, Fox as a company has lost UFC, and then it's still in the process, but it's pretty much officially unofficial. They sold the Marvel assets back to Disney.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
I know you heard about that.
I did hear about that.
Yep. So now Disney owns pretty much everything Marvel. The Fox-owned properties, I think, were just X-Men, Fantastic Four, a couple of other things. But, Fox sold it all back. So Disney owns that. So there's a hole in what Fox owned. Their focus is sports and news. So now there's this gaping hole, and you have to sit here and wonder, what's the saving grace?
Goose.
What's the saving grace?
Goose. Before we hit into that, I also want to just add a couple more aspects to it, man. So Fox itself has actually been in the news this week as they actually let go of a couple of their key franchise TV shows. One being Brooklyn 911, which ended up getting picked up.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Which ended up getting picked up by NBC, because I believe NBC owned the rights to it to begin with and then sold it to Fox. And the other one was Lucifer, which that one caught everybody by surprise, because it's a hit. The ratings are there, and everyone just got caught off guard with it. Hashtag save Lucifer. Hashtag pick up Lucifer. So I'm wondering, with the UFC gone, and with them clearing space with Lucifer and Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which are Mondays and Tuesdays shows, I'm wondering, Goose, if this was not a bigger play for what's to come.
Are you referencing Empire? Because doesn't Empire come on Wednesdays?
And Empire comes on Wednesdays, yes.
So you're thinking they cut a Monday night show, they cut a Tuesday night show, they're gonna cut, mark it out, they're gonna cut Empire, son. Empire's gonna be on NBC next
bro,
week.
I ain't say they cut an Empire, but what I'm saying is they freeing up Mondays and Tuesdays for this acquisition deal of Monday Night Raw and Tuesday Night SmackDown.
So the news broke today. We record this show, as you've heard in the past, on Thursday nights. The news did break today. Good segue, by the way. That was a good transition for the first.
I'm learning, man. I'm learning.
That's a good transition. So the news broke today. The word out there is, and this is big money, so these contracts take forever. NBC, Comcast, Universal / NBC, all same company, has told WWE through a contract out there, and they said, as we all know, JBL said it, on the WWE Network special. The WWE makes about $100 million from the USA deal. NBC owns USA to air, SmackDown and Raw. They make about $100 million, maybe a little bit more. The word out there as of today, I don't know if you've heard this or not, but the word out there as of today, it was announced this afternoon, and WWE stock rose 15% once Comcast Universal rumors went out there, so there's some truth to it, I think, especially if stock prices rise, and WWE is at an all-time high, that NBC told WWE, we are going to pay you 3 times your previous contract for. So we're talking $300 million a year.
Jesus.
To keep Raw on the USA Network. And I'm sure there's details in there about ad revenue, all that good stuff. But we're going to pay you $300 million a year. That's 3 times the original contract to keep WWE programming. But we just want Raw. You can take SmackDown and go market that somewhere else.
Wow.
So now Fox is going to approach WWE or vice versa, WWE. Basically, since WWE is just a licensed product and they can do whatever they want with it, WWE is now going to market themselves to Fox because Fox actually just signed a deal. Okay, remember, I just told you they lost to UFC. Fox landed a deal with Thursday night NFL football.
Wow.
So the money in getting NFL football versus UFC, you can't compare it. That's apples and oranges. You're always going to get 15, 20 times more money in NFL football than you would in the UFC. Mm-hmm. Not to crap on the UFC, it's the NFL. So now Fox, like I said earlier, they're trying to build up their brand on sports and news. So they're going to go after SmackDown.
Okay.
So SmackDown essentially would be on like Fox Sports 1 or something. So basically SmackDown, I think starting in 2019 officially, SmackDown is up. It's being shopped. And Fox is the front runner to get it. I think there's a couple of other things, other players out there like Amazon Prime, Hulu, Netflix, kind of the more digital areas. So I'm okay with that because, you know, if NBC says we're going to pay you $300 million a year, we'll keep you on USA, maybe we'll put you on NBC. I don't know. We're going to give you a ton of money. WWE obviously can't turn that down. But let me ask you this. I think it's great for the WWE if they have Raw on, say, USA every Monday night, 3 hours. And then Tuesday night on Fox Sports, they have SmackDown because you have 2 different companies competing to make a show better because they're going to be telling Vince McMahon, oh, make the show better, add this storyline, add this. You know what I mean? You have 2, same product, 2 competing companies trying to make each show better because they want ratings and they want ad revenue. So I think it could be great business for the WWE. Do you agree?
I agree that the recipe is there, but my problem is the pay-per-views. I think that if they were to go with this model, the way that the pay-per-views were previously, having them separate would have been better from a competition standpoint. Whereas with them being together, like the whole goal for these televised shows is to get people to go and watch the pay-per-view that corresponds with the storyline. And I think that you suffer, like the TV stations are going to suffer from it because they're really promoting each other. But I mean, I don't know. Hopefully, if they treat it separately, like 2 completely separate shows, I think that it's worthwhile. But I don't think the TV stations benefit from it. I think ultimately WWE's benefiting from it. And what up, Ringo Flake? Bodaz got some love, Ringo.
Yeah,
no
Ringo,
scoop, bro.
Thanks for joining, and we haven't heard from you in a while. Ringo, we're going to talk about Bo Dallas in a second because he's on the newly formed B team. But back to the subject matter, WWE clearly owns the rights to their pay-per-view, quote-unquote pay-per-view product, which is the WWE Network, because even though they're owned by NBC now, their pay-per-view content is aired on the WWE Network. NBC and Fox don't care about the WWE Network and their pay-per-view content because NBC, Fox, Spike TV, all these companies that have shown WWE TV have never showed pay-per-views. They never have. They just want that primetime Monday, Tuesday night advertising revenue. So here's what I'm confused about. I don't know where this is going to go. So let's put me and you into the picture. Say you're on Raw, right? Say as of today, there's the brand split, and Ben Goosen goes to SmackDown, Sage goes to Raw. And you're fighting for the heavyweight title. Your career's going great. Since the split up, of the IRWP tag team. You're doing amazing, doing these big things. Your family's fed. You got this big house. And then I go to SmackDown, and I'm running the show there. I'm like the AJ Styles of that show. I'm bringing in ratings. I'm having these great matches. Fast forward, 6-8 months to a year from now. This essentially means you're on NBC USA, and I'm on Fox Sports 1. Vince, the brand split may come. And the brand split, the big storyline of the brand split is going to be, Ben Goosen is going to Raw. Man, I think he's going to challenge his IRWP friend Sage the Mark for the title. But now Fox could say, wait a minute.
Yeah, we don't want you to cross-promote.
Every time Ben Goosen is on SmackDown, the ratings go up and we charge more for ad revenue. Yeah, how about no? Ben Goosen stays on SmackDown. You could bring Sage Mark over here because every time he's on TV, ad revenue goes up. So how does that work when you have two shows, two different networks? How does the brand split? How does the roster shakeup work?
I mean, I would say, like, how would the cross promotion work in general? I don't think it would, because I mean, if I have two competing, it would be different if it was Sci-Fi and USA, right? Because they're owned by the same company. But you have two companies Correct. That are completely separate, and I don't think that it would be in the best interest of the company. I would think that they would want to say something that if they were trying to drive traffic to another TV station, despite it being their own product. I think this is a lose-lose situation for SmackDown all the way through, man. And it's kind of sad because, I mean, I SmackDown's the better show. I mean, I know that's my opinion, but I mean, it seems to be the better show. It gets more rave reviews than Raw does traditionally. And yeah, with the whole hour extra or hour less thing, but I don't see how SmackDown, like, I don't see how the superstars want to be on SmackDown. I would think they would be under the mindset that, hey, we're going to get paid a lot less because we're on the B show.
See, I think it's a win for SmackDown if you put it in that twist, because you have two networks, and these networks want money. They want ad revenue, and they want ratings. So now, when you're on SmackDown, you have Fox behind you. You have two separate companies. Because to me, clearly NBC is saying, hey, we're going to pay you 3 times the contract to get rid of SmackDown because we don't give a shit about SmackDown. That's clearly what it is. You don't tell somebody, we're going to pay you 3 times what we used to pay you, but you have to get rid of half of your show. You don't tell anybody that. Nobody would say that. That'd be like me saying, hey, Martin, your show is amazing. Tell you what, get rid of Gina and Tommy and we'll pay you 3 times more the worth. No! Hey, in Living Color, keep Jim Carrey, get rid of the Wayans, put him on a different network, and we'll pay you 3 times the worth. No! You would say, we're going to pay you 3 times the worth, and we're going to put the Wayans on Monday nights, Jim Carrey on Tuesday nights. You would, if you're going to pay somebody for something, you're going to keep all the rights. So it just shows me NBC doesn't give a shit about SmackDown. So now you have somebody, another multi-billion-dollar company who gives a shit about their product because they got to make their money on the contract that they've signed up. I think it could be really good for SmackDown. Now, in the Superstar split, it may suck because some people, Fox and NBC may say, no, I don't want to give it the Superstar. But, hey, that's not a bad thing. As a wrestling fan, it's great because we're getting a ton of exposure.
Yeah, well, and Ringo makes a good point. He says that the NBA does it for every game in the playoffs. ESPN always shows the schedules for TNT and vice versa.
Great.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great point. My only counter argument to that is that this would be like the playoffs every day, every week, and it's one thing to do it for 80 nights. It's another thing to do it for 256 days out of the week. Actually, I mean, technically it would be more like 104 days out of the year. I don't see it happening, and I just worry that SmackDown is going to get they're going to get the Raw end of the deal. I mean, they already
They may
don't
call up a bunch of SmackDown stars. This may mean AJ Styles is officially going to Raw.
Yeah, and that's what I'm afraid of, man. The star power is all going to be concentrated on Raw. I mean, you're going to have to force it to be there. And this didn't work when SmackDown was on the Sci-Fi Network. And Fox isn't really a pro-friendly wrestling format traditionally. So I don't know, man. I mean, I'm optimistic that it might work, but I just worry about SmackDown's health overall.
Yeah, no, so I could see that end. I think Fox owned Pop Network. I think I'd have to do some research.
Yeah,
that aired Impact.
Yeah, Impact.
We all saw how that went.
Yeah, they were there for like 2 months or so, but yeah, man, I think there is some validity of Fox either taking both or SmackDown only to this. I honestly think that the reason why they canceled 2 of their 3 hits and that they're forcing Gotham to have its final season this year. I think it's just I honestly think it's just a ploy for them to free up cap space so that they can.
Yeah, absolutely. They're getting out of this. They're getting out of the entertainment business, flat out. Like, it's clear, politics and news. And they're going to try to master that.
Yep.
Which is funny because they want to master politics and news, but all these people at Fox quit their jobs for sexual harassment and all this other stuff. So it's like they're getting off to a rough start. So hopefully Fox, man. Hopefully Fox, you pull it together, man. You got the tools to do it.
Yours to lose, bro.
Speaking of Raw on USA. What? Go ahead and say it. I know we're trying not to get too political.
Nah, I was just going to say, man, just yours to lose, bro. I'm going to leave it at that.
Yeah. This isn't a political podcast. We're not going to get into all that. I'm not going to say Fox does this or NBC or whatever does that. I'm not a political show. Speaking of politics, though, this week, I feel like one of the things that I like is when the WWE goes to London, there's no politics, and it's not really Marks or just John Cena fans or just Roman Reigns fans. It's a crowd that's just there to enjoy and have a great time. And Raw and SmackDown this week were in England, jolly old England.